Okie doke. Hi, friends. It's been a couple of weeks. It's like, what time is it? Because I always like to state the time at the beginning of videos. It is 10:42 Vegas, Thursday, July 10th, 2025. Just wanted to basically pop my head up on my YouTube channel and give y'all a general update of, what's been going on, where I've been, blah, 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 blah. Pardon me, because I'm in the kitchen grabbing a drink. So, yeah, where have we been? So, obviously I made one of my last 2, maybe 3 YouTube videos ago, explaining how I got fired from transit security. I honestly say now getting fired from that job was honestly the best thing that ever happened to me. And that's a very odd thing to say, but I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? They actually did me a favor. I was already wanting to resign. I'm looking for my phone stand. So, sorry guys, I'm in my med school backpack. I was already thinking about resigning. I was basically, hunting for another job while at transit. And more or less, how do I say it? Well, I'll say it like I mentioned on a LinkedIn post. Getting fired was the kick in the ass I needed to more or less really hunt for a new position. So it just so happened that right when I got fired is when one of the Las Vegas strip casino conglomerates was having a hiring event. Stop shaking. They were having a hiring event, and I went to that event, and I got in here pretty fast. Rent this month for July was just paid today, actually, on Thursday, the 10th. We were a little bit overdue. I had a 7-day notice on the door, this and that, but I explained to my landlord, look, here's what's going on. We're in between jobs, XYZ. Although I did tell kind of a white lie with my landlord. I said I got laid off and then elected to resign, which obviously isn't the case, and I own that. But that's what I told my landlord, because for some reason, when speaking with people who have more or less power over me, I feel compelled to not tell them everything. I.e., my landlord, who has the authority to kick me out. So I told them I got laid off, and then from the layoff, elected to leave that position, transit. Obviously not the case. I own that. I own I was fired. I want to say that outright. But yeah. So we were I went to the hiring event the 17th, was hired the same day from the event. And pretty much actually it was very fast. Tuesday, the 17th of June, I was hired. June 18th was my orientation at the Paris Hotel and Casino in Vegas, and then from that point on, I've been in field training. I've been in FTO training. Tomorrow, Friday the 11th, will mark my 3rd and last week in FTO training. So yay for that. We're heading into our last week of FTO training. These last 2 weeks have been nothing but euphoric for me, both because I've missed casino security. Truthfully, I've done casino before. I just don't put that I've been, I don't put casino on my resume, because I have a general rule with myself to where anything 6 months, if it was less than a year or whatever, I generally don't put it on my resume. And my stay with MGM Resorts International, working the Excalibur Casino in particular, I was assigned to Excalibur. I was released from probation, not fired during my probation period. This was at the onset of COVID. So, I was an MGM employee. I was MGM security, COVID popped off, blah, 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 blah. Well, MGM or Caesars, because I'm Caesars, both of these strip conglomerates have their own in-house security academy. So all their security officers are supposed to go, say, to the MGM Academy. I'm still waiting on my date for Caesars. I'm not hassling supervisors yet. I haven't even passed my field training. We're going to my last week, so I'm not hassling them for an academy date yet. But MGM, I made it through. I made it through their floor officer process. I made it through their FTO, this and that, and I was waiting for my academy date when COVID popped off. Well, because I was still in training, and because I was still in like my initial probie period, I was still in my probation. Because I was a probie, because I wasn't through the academy, this and that. When the casino when the casino looked through everybody, all departments, all the employees across all the departments and whatnot. Obviously, when COVID popped off, everybody in training, everybody who was a probie, we were the first to go. So when COVID popped off, I was released from the Excalibur. I was COVIDed out. So yeah, COVID got me more or less released from that job. So, then I went back into PLB security. Then I went back into guard card work. I went back into contract security. And like as the years have gone on, well, I mean, I had my few years in Salt Lake, sure, but like as the years have gone on, I'm like, I kind of miss gaming. I kind of miss gaming, because gaming's not, for those of you who aren't in Nevada, gaming, these casinos and what have you, they're regulated under the Nevada gaming, I call it gambling, layman's terms, the Gaming Control Board. Well, what is gaming? It's gambling. So for the purposes of this video, the Gambling Control Board, it is officially gaming. The Gambling Control Board actually more or less regulates and oversees casino security. So, you don't need your state guard card to work in these casinos. You don't need your, you don't need your contract security license, this and that. You don't need your PLB card, as it's called in Nevada. Like California's equivalent of PLB would be BSIS, Utah Doppel, all the states that I've worked in. Your guard, you don't need your guard card to work these casinos. Your security position is regulated and overseen by the gambling board. So it's actually it's the gaming board that actually more or less oversees and regulates the security positions in the casino, just like everybody else in the casino. Everybody's under the gambling board. Slots techs, housekeeping, everybody is overseen by the gambling board. So yeah, so I've just been kind of spending my days, in between med school and in uniform. And these last 2 weeks have been pretty, I feel like it's sappy to say, but these last few weeks have been life-changing for me. I've been really looking at myself. I've been looking at my habits. I've been looking at changes I want to make, both, like personally, financially, just looking at myself. Because going to med school, the 4 hours I have in med school, and then going to work, say, realistically, I have like an hour to an hour and a half between med school to when I have to actually leave for the strip. Because I typically, so like right now I'm training on swing shift, okay, but I was hired for graveyard. So eventually I'll be a graveyard dispatcher. Well, on swings, I have to leave by 1:30. This is me. This is my work ethic. I leave at 1:30 to show up on the strip, to show up at property by 2 o'clock for a 3 p.m. punch-in for swing. So that'll be the same thing for grave when I clock in at 11. It'll be, okay, 9:30 for a 10 p.m. I'll leave by 9:30 to be on the strip by 10 p.m. for a 11 punch. This is my work ethic. This has always been my work ethic, even in guard card work, because it allows me to eat on property, eat on site, whatever. It allows me to do admin tasks if I need to do anything, i.e. when I go into work tomorrow, I actually have to switch out my uniform. So I'm actually gonna be coming in civilians, and I'm gonna have to drop my uniform into the laundry chute. That's one of the benefits of being at one of these casinos. Everything's done for you. So I'll drop my uniform in the laundry chute, and then to start on my Monday tomorrow, my work Monday, I'll go to the uniform room and I'll ask for a new shirt and pants. I'll ask for a new uniform, a new set, because I still have 2 sets in the casino closet. In the central uniform room, there are two sets of uniforms still for me. Everybody's issued 3 sets, so I got 1 set in my apartment right now. That set's got to go down the chute, so I still have 2 sets to ask for out of uniforms. So when I show up to property tomorrow, I gotta ask for a set. But yeah, so this whole thing has been life-changing for me. Now, I mentioned rent and whatnot at the beginning of the video. Rent was a little bit tricky this month just because you're in training. This was like I call it the train paycheck. You know how it goes. You go into a job, that first paycheck ain't what you're actually making. It's not your full period. I actually damn near did get my full period this first paycheck, because I actually worked some overtime and what have you, just because it was a scheduling snafu. So I basically showed up more than I actually should have, but they didn't release me from properly. Like, hey, you're training. No, we'll stick you to somebody. We got you. So I worked 62, 64 hours this pay period. So I actually damn near did get a full paycheck. It still wasn't my rent though. So I actually had to go to my credit union that I'm a part of, and I had to ask for a small loan. So now I've got a loan, and I basically blasted the paycheck to rent. Found a 7-day notice on the door yesterday. So I had the what do you call it? I had the legal fees. I had the eviction fees assessed onto my ledger. So I had to pay rent plus fees. But all in all, I made it, because I was stressing the fuck out about July rent. So everything's settled. I had a storage unit in Utah that was in danger of being auctioned off. Saved that. So yeah, we made it through July, because that was what I was really stressing about. We made it through the months. I made it through June, because right as I got fired from transit is basically I made that rent payment right as I was going out the door. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know I was going out the door. I was fired unexpectedly out of the blue. I was blindsided, but June was paid for before everything happened on the 6th of June. Or the 10th of June or something. I think it was 8th, 9th, 10th. I forgot when I got fired. It was right after the Bellagio shooting, anyways. Because we did have a shooting on the Strip in June. That made the news. I don't know if it went national. It certainly, as all hell, made the local Las Vegas news, of course. But yeah, so what are the changes we're looking at? This is not career-wise. This is personal changes. What am I doing now? Well, this next paycheck in July 24th, 25th, whatever the hell it is, because we actually get paid Thursdays here at Caesars. What are we looking at? Well, that July paycheck is going to go towards August rent. I'm not leaving anything to chance in August. I'm just going to, stash the money. And so that's going to go to August. Now, beyond that, what are we looking at in the month of August? Well, we're going to start on a payment schedule for rent, start budgeting for that. But primarily because I've got less than $1,500 in credit card debt. Once I do get a full paycheck in August, I'm probably pushing that to my credit cards and just being done with cards. By being done with cards, I mean paying them down to zero. I do want to operate off my credit cards, i.e. expenses, i.e. anytime I have to refuel my truck, anytime I need to buy something, for work or, general groceries, whatever. that does get charged to credit cards. So, you know, general expenses, I operate off credit cards. I had to Uber for I had a couple months ago, I did have to Uber back and forth, this and that. So like I maxed out two cards. Just because when my Subaru went down and before my father gave me the family spare vehicle, this and that, everything, you know, I financially fucked myself again. I racked up my cars and this and that. So the what do you call it? Maxing out my credit line, maxing out the cards, became a thing a couple months ago. So now I need to pay them to zero. And once we pay them down to zero, now we'll actually be able to more or less look at our cars and be like, okay, this is what I have. In between all of that, once the credit cards are paid down to zero, I'm going to start looking at starting to save for a van. I am a minimalist by personality now, especially with not having a pet anymore. Rest in peace, Starfire. I am saving up for a van so I can do the whole van life thing, you know, live on the road and what have you. And after as I'm setting aside for my van, because that's going to be a good while, saving up for a down payment for a van on wheels, a home on wheels, what have you. That's going to take a long while. So as I'm doing that, I'm also going to be diving into my credit report finally, post credit cards. Now we're going to get the van fund going. As I'm doing that, I'm going to finally look at my credit report. I've been scared to look at it all this time. And I'm going to start chipping away at things that more or less have been charged off, things that I owe. And we're going to decide, you know, as I dive into my credit report, I'm going to decide on what I'm actually paying off, what I'm contesting. Because I know there's some stuff that, you know, is like, no, that's not valid or whatever. So, I mean, I am going to be looking at my report finally. But in the immediate near future, I'm looking at making dietary changes. I'm going to stop, I wouldn't say cold turkey, but I'm going to slowly wean myself off like fast food and what have you. Just because my life this last year and a half, 2 years since I came back to Vegas, it's just been constant go, 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 go. So, like, I just jack in the box, you know, I eat bullshit. Let's just state it, it's bullshit. So we're gonna slowly wean ourselves off the bullshit. There's a bug on my wall and I don't know why it's distracting me. Yeah, we're gonna slowly wean ourselves off the bullshit. We're gonna make some dietary changes. I have decided in my brain that I need to start weaning myself off, sorry. I need to start weaning myself off Red Bull and soda again. And by again, I mean, I was big into, the water supplement Liquid IV when I was in Utah, because there was a chain store called Harmon's in Salt Lake City area. There's a store in the state of Utah called Harmon's, and they had Liquid IV. Like, they had the full catalog of Liquid IV in their store. So, you know, I had Liquid IV Energy, I had Liquid IV Hydration, I had Liquid IV, I had the Liquid IV Basic Hydration, I had the Liquid IV Energy, I had the Liquid IV Melatonin. Like, I was literally just drinking water and putting Liquid IV in my water, and I was, like, living off Liquid IV. Down to their melatonin flavor, because they actually do have a more or less sleep water, is what I called it. So they do actually have melatonin. So me having came back to Vegas, Liquid IV is a bitch to find here in Vegas. So, you know, I got myself back on the Red Bull addiction again, this and that. Well, that's going to be one thing that we're slowly going to start making changes on, is diet, overall diet, fast food. Slowly trim down the fast fooding, start, you know, meal prepping for the casino or whatever. And then, and then just making the soda changes, start weaning myself off soda, start weaning myself off energy drinks, start actually drinking more water, and just being solely on Liquid IV again. Yeah, that's 20 minutes of me yapping. This was all just more or less personal stuff. But I did want to make one. But I did want to make a video, come out here, tell y'all how FTO's been going, and more or less just general personal stuff outside of security that kind of relates to the job. I do have another bullet point that I want to talk about, but this video's gone on long enough, so I may make 2 videos tonight. Who knows? Otherwise, I'll save that video for tomorrow. Anyways, guys, this is my Career Professional Security Journal. Stay safe, take it easy out there, and see you soon.